going on, guys? Sinister here, back with another video, and we are taking a look at how to level and build Artio solo lanes. So we're doing something a little different here. In my previous builds, I would always do, class to role. Like, I would always do Guardian support, I would always do Assassin jungle and stuff like that. But we're going to switch it up. I'm going to still do an Artio support build, but I'm going to do Artio solo as well because she's completely viable in solo. And not only that, she's actually pretty good, and we'll probably see some play in SPL solo lane. So that's why we're going to do it. We're going to jump into the abilities. If you don't know her abilities, you can pause and look at it right here. She is a shapeshifter, if you did not know that. So her ultimate, we'll just show you that right now. That's her ult. So she has 6 different abilities to choose from. Obviously 3 in her bear stance, 3 in her druid stance, and these are the abilities that you can read here and look at you want. When you start off on level 1, you're going to want to upgrade your 1 first. Your 1 is going to be your main source of clear, specifically while you're solo laning. Or sorry, not your 1, I meant your 3. I completely messed that up. I not at all. That is my bad. So we'll check out the 3 right here. You're going to want to upgrade your 3 first, is what I meant to say. Because your 3 is going to be your main source of clear. It's your wave clear. Now after that, level 2 is when you want to get your 1. Your 1 will be another form of clear. And in bear stance, it'll be a double swipe. Now your 3 in bear stance will just be a charge. So you can ideally clear fairly well. You'll have 2 clearing abilities. You can use your 3 in druid form, switch, and then dash through the minions, or you could use your 3 in druid form and then your 1 in druid form. So there's other options there. After that, once you hit level 3, you're going to want to go ahead and get your 2. Your 2 is going to be very useful. It's your stim. It will, once you activate it, it'll give you a buff in bear form. It'll also stun in bear form. It'll give you a power buff in druid form, and it'll give you it does something to the enemies, but I forget. I have to look here. Creates a thicket of vines around herself, cripples enemy gods, and decreases their magical and physical power. So really good ability. And then after that, your priorities are just going to be your 3 whenever you can for that clear, and then your 2. Your ultimate, I would go ahead and get it whenever possible, whenever it's available, just because the things that it does are very good. It gives you more movement speed per stack and more mana per 5 per stack. So 3, 1, 2, and then ult whenever possible. So I guess the priorities would be your ultimate, your 3, your 1, and then your 2. Now, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into a little bit of the build. Now, since this is, wrong button. Since this is solo lane, it's obviously going to be very different than most starts you're seeing. You're probably going to want to start with Vamp Shroud. And I say that because odds are you're going to be facing a physical solo laner, more than likely a warrior. So Vamp Shroud is going to give you a little bit of physical protection. If you're not, and you're facing a magical solo laner and you know that, you could go Sands of Time. Maybe a Sands of Time Boombas combo. It just really depends, but I would probably get Vamp Shroud. That'll be your best bet. Now, you could do double starters with Vamp Shroud Boombas if you want, but you're probably just going to want to go shoes. Get your boots first, so... Ooh, sorry. And shoes of... Where are they at? Shoes of focus, probably. You're not going to really need the pen. Getting that cooldown will be nice for Artio, because her cooldowns aren't the greatest. She's a really good god, so her cooldowns have to be a little more, longer cooldown is what I'm looking for, especially your 3. 3, I think, is like a 16 or 17 second cooldown or something like that. So getting some cooldown will be nice. Now, after that, like I said, since you'll more than likely be facing a physical person in solo lane, Breastplate of Valor. That's not really changed in solo lane. That's kind of always been the go-to. Obviously, there's, different circumstances, but generally, you're going to want to go ahead and get Breastplate of Valor. After that, it's up to you. It depends on how the game's going. I am not idle. It depends on how the game is going. But to give you that power and some physical or some magical protections as well, Void Stone will be good. Keep in mind, you are solo laning. You don't want to get that support mindset. So I know that Breastplate of Valor on Artio seems like a bad thing because that's not a support item, but you're a solo laner. Void Stone can go either way. Void Stone can be for power or support or both. So Void Stone is going to be really good on Artio. Now, this is where everything becomes super... It's hard to tell you what to build because every game is different, every comp is different. If you're facing a lot of healers, you could go ahead and get something like Bulwark of Hope. That'll give you some Pestilence. It'll give you some anti-heal there. but it'll also give you some protection and health. That's usually a good solo item. But at this point, I would recommend going a double defense. And if you don't know what double defense is, it's just magical and physical defense. Height of the Urchin will be pretty good. You'll probably be getting numerous assists and stuff like that. But this is kind of fallen out of the meta. If you're facing a comp that has a lot of CC, like I mean a lot of CC, Kumbas and Athenas and stuff that just is super painful, or pain in the ass, Magi's Blessing will be good, absorb some of that CC. But I would actually recommend going Spirit Robe right here. You will overcap on CDR, so probably not. If you went Pen Boots first, you could get a Spirit Robe here. But doing this will overcap you 10%, and you'd also have the mana buff that you're going to be getting. So I wouldn't really go that there. Mantle of Discord's too expensive to get right now, so honestly, I would go Hide the Urchin. I know it's kind of fallen out of the meta a little bit, but it's still a good item. If you can get on, if you're getting in on kills and assists, I mean, it's a good item. It gives you health, it gives you mana, and it gives you both protections, and it obviously stacks up. So, good item there. Excuse me. Now, after this is going to be an item that I say you kind of have to get with Artio. You don't have to, but I highly recommend it, and that'll be Midgardian Mail. The reason for this is it's cheap. You can even get this earlier if you wanted. It gives you some health and some protection. The base stats aren't the greatest, but it's the passive that's really good, and it works really well with Artio. When hit with the basic attack, there's a 30% chance to slow your enemy's movement speed and attack speed by 30% for 2 seconds. So if you're chasing someone down, and you're running at them in bear form, or you're trying to stun them and everything, and they're just strafing hitting you with basics, or you're facing a Bologna in solo lane, and they're just whacking you with basics, and they get slowed, and then their attack speed goes down, and they get into panic mode. Well, Artio can already chase you down, she can already stun you, she can already bruise you, and this is just going to slow them down and basically make it unable for them to get to you. And this will work really good in late game team fights when hunters are just smacking you. It'll slow them down, slow their basic attacks down and everything, and just overall really help you out. So Midgardian Mail is a really good item. Now at some point, obviously, you're going to want to be selling Vamp Shroud. And last item, what I recommend? You could probably go for something like a Bulwark of Hope if you wanted to be super selfish and get that shield. You could also do Pestilence, like I said, if they have some healers. Maybe even a Magi's Blessing, like I said, if they went for that CC. But when you're buying last item in your late game, some games won't even go to last item. So if you're going to go for that last item in the soul lane, I would just get a Mantle of Discord. It's 2,900 gold. It is expensive. By then, it won't really matter. It's going to give you 60 physical and magical protections, and it's going to give you that last 10% of cooldown. So you'll get 10% from the shoes, 10% from, or sorry, 20% from the breastplate, and then the last 10% from Mantle Discord. And in between all of this, you'll be getting the mana buff since you are the solo laner, so you'll still be in max cooldown through mid game and stuff like that. And then come late game, you won't even have to worry about the mana buff, and you'll just be full cooldown. So you will be super tanky in this build. Obviously, we have well, technically all defensive items, if you want to look at it. The really only offense you're going to be poking out is from that Voidstone. What sets this apart from any support build is just that the items you're building aren't to help other people. Like, this Hide of the Urchin isn't really a support item, although it could be. Voidstone isn't necessarily a support item unless you're playing it on an aggressive one like Ares and stuff like that. Breastplate is not at all a support item, so you don't see a lot of Midgardian Mail on support, although it is done. You're still building defense. You don't want to be going, you know, Ethereal Staff, Soul Reaver, Bancroft's Talon, just something like that. You don't want to be doing that. You want to still be tanky. That's the whole point of this. But to still put the hurt on people, and you can definitely do it with this build. I don't think I covered Relics yet. Solo lane Relics are tricky. Before, I would tell you to go ahead and get Teleport, but it seems like no one gets Teleport anymore in the solo lane, especially in like the SPL. If you're starting off on Artio and you're starting off in solo lane or in Smite in general, I would highly recommend just going ahead and get Teleport still. It's just a really good relic, especially for solo lane. You could also go ahead and get Hand of the Gods, because getting the buffs is going to be a little difficult since you are playing a Guardian and you're not a warrior or anything else that has better clear than you. So probably one of those two to start off with, and then your second relic, getting a Shell would be nice. If your support already has Shell, You could also get something like a Cursed Ankh if they have healers. A Frenzy to pair with the Shell in your support would be really nice. But probably, you know, we'll just throw a Cursed Ankh in there because I know that, well, we're not even level 12, but that would probably be my second one just because anti-healing is really good and healing is really annoying. So you can never really get too much, and if they have a healing comp, that'll definitely be really good. That is going to wrap this video up, guys. If you enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like and hit subscribe for more builds like this. I hope to probably do an Artio support soon. I don't know if I'm going to do that or go back to the order in alphabetical. But be on the lookout for them, guys. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you again soon.